Tensions between Iran and United States have flared sharply this week, reviving fears of a wider confrontation in West Asia. US military deployment near the region and unusual diplomatic messaging involving India. Why are Iran and US on the edge again? US President Donald Trump said this week that Washington has moved naval ships closer to the region just in case he decides to act against Iran, unquote, signaling a readiness to escalate if needed. A US Navy official confirmed that the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln, along with the accompanying warship, is currently deployed in the Indian Ocean. Iran responded with equally stark warnings. Revolutionary Guard Commander General Mohammad Pakpor said Iran's forces were more ready than ever with a finger on the trigger. Now, what is happening inside Iran? The latest escalation comes against the backdrop of weeks of unrest within Iran. Protests erupted in late December over rising prices, unemployment, and the sharp collapse of Iranian realities imposed what many Iranians describe as the most extensive internet shutdown in country's history, sharply restricting access to messaging platforms and social media. Activists and rights groups allege that at least 5,000 people were killed during the crackdown, though Iranian authorities have not confirmed these figures. By early January, visible protests appeared to decline, largely due to communications blackout. The protests have reinforced arguments about Tehran's domestic legitimacy. For Iran, they have heightened fears of foreign intervention in the moment of internal vulnerability. Why does Iran publicly thank India? Amid the growing confrontation, Iran's ambassador to India, Mohammad Fatali, issued a rare public thank you to New Delhi for its vote at the UN Human Rights Council. India opposed a resolution that sought increased international scrutiny of Iran's human rights record following the protest. Fatali described the resolution as unjust and politically motivated and praised India's position as principled and firm. The message stood out because Iran typically avoids singling out countries publicly and because it came at a time when Tehran is under intense pressure from Western powers. What does India's vote signal? Now, India's stance reflects its long-standing approach of strategic autonomy. New Delhi has traditionally avoided country-specific resolutions at the UN that it views as selective or politicized. India also maintains important economic and geopolitical ties with Iran, including interests linked to energy security and regional connectivity. At the same time, India has deepened relations with US, making its UN vote a careful diplomatic balancing act rather than an endorsement of Iran's internal actions. Now, what happens next? The US warships are positioned nearby and rhetoric hardening on both sides. The risk of miscalculation has risen, even if neither side appears eager for a full-scale conflict. Much will depend on whether protests inside Iran reignite and whether Washington chooses to translate its warnings into concrete action. For now, Iran's internal unrest, US military signaling, and shifting diplomatic alignments, including India's, have converged to create a volatile and closely watched moment in regional politics. This is a developing story.